from Luke chapter 22. In the upper room, later in the courtyard, Jesus and his friends have eaten the last meal. The bread has been broken. The cup has gone around. Then Jesus turns to his friends and says, "Simon, Simon," 2 times. You say a name twice when you need the person to listen all the way down. Simon, Simon, listen. Satan has wanted to have you. He will sift you like wheat, but I have prayed for you. I have prayed that your faith will hold. And when you return, after your comeback, help to make your friends strong. So listen to what just happened in that little speech. Jesus says, you are about to be shaken. Jesus does not say, I will keep the shaking from happening. Jesus does not say, you are too strong to be shaken. Jesus says, I have prayed for you. And then Jesus says, when you come back, not if, Peter is going to fail. Jesus already knows. And Jesus has already named the assignment on the other side of the failure. And he says, strengthen your cherished friends. So the work after the wound is already given. All of this is beyond Peter's comprehension. So Peter says, Lord, I'm ready to go to prison and to die with you, because he wants to prove something. And Jesus answers, Peter, the rooster will not crow today before you say that you do not know me 3 times. And Peter probably waved that away, like when you think a friend is being dramatic and you only know later what was really being said. I'm preaching this from Cape Town. You may have heard rumors that there's a lot of beauty here. The rumors are true. Table Mountain, we can see from our window where we are now. The Atlantic is right there outside our apartment. Light on the water that looks like it was made exactly for this hour. But South Africa carries deep wounds, violence, inequality, the unfinished ache of history. Diane and I currently are witnesses. But what we are not here is the political bullseye. And that's not nothing. For a Black man who spent much of his life as the only one or one of the few in the room, that's not nothing. And yet I am aware that my people in the United States do not have that relief. The weight that I carried there in the States has not lifted for them. It's still on their shoulders every day. I'm not preaching from above that weight. I preach beside it, across an ocean, still feeling it and still there. And maybe that's why Peter's story comes to mind at this point. Because Peter knows something about distance. So they arrest Jesus. They lead him to the high priest's house, and Peter follows at a distance. You know that distance? Close enough to see, far enough not to be seen. Then Peter edges into the courtyard. The night is cold. The guards they've built a fire. Peter joins them there. And a servant girl notices him in the firelight, and she stares and she says, "This man was one of Jesus's followers." And Peter says, "Woman, I don't even know him." A little later, someone else looks at Peter. "Aren't you one of them?" "No, man." About an hour after that, someone else notices. "Hey, he is one of them. He is a Galilean too." "Man, I have no idea what you're talking about." And while Peter is still speaking, the rooster crows. And Jesus turns and looks across the courtyard at Peter. And we know what that look did, because suddenly Jesus' words flashed through Peter's mind. "Before the rooster crows tomorrow morning, 3 times you will deny that you even know me." And get this, the look didn't just see Peter. The look made Peter remember. The look returned him to the upper room. The look brought back, "Simon, Simon." The look brought back, "I have prayed for you." The look brought back, "After your comeback." Maybe the look brought back the initial assignment. Peter was standing at the wrong fire, and the look presents him with the whole evening: the meal, the bread, the cup, the prayer Jesus prayed, the words Peter didn't believe, the love he was given before he came up short. That's why he weeps bitterly, not because he has been caught, but because he has been sustained the whole time. Sustained in the prayer, sustained in the commission, sustained in the warning that he did not accept. And now, only at the rooster, only at the look, only at the remembering does he understand that Jesus has been sustaining him all along. But Jesus's look is never only private. Yes, Jesus looks at Peter. Yes, Jesus sees a frightened man trying to survive the night. But Jesus also looks at the world Peter is standing in. Jesus sees the courtyard, the fire, the power that made association with him dangerous. And Jesus sees the system that taught Peter to protect himself by denying the one he loved. So when Christ looks at us, the look is personal. It sees the private failure, the fear, the compromise, the moment we kept warm at the wrong fire. But the look is also public. It sees the structures that strain us and train people to distance themselves from suffering. It sees the rooms where silence becomes policy. It sees the pulpits where truth is delayed until it is safe. It sees the institutions that do not need an order because they already know which way the wind is blowing. So, what has it cost when pulpits covered for Israel by ignoring Gaza? People have stayed warm, standing by the fire, but it's the wrong fire. Let that register. The same eye sees a people under siege, unable to get medicine, unable to get food, paying the price for what governments do to each other. The same eye sees every generation of Black people told their lives matter less, that anti-Blackness is the water we swim in, so old, so deep, that some have stopped noticing that they're drowning. And when I say our ancestors, I'm coming from the Black story that raised me, and I offer that witness as a gift to the whole church. Our ancestors knew that water. They followed Jesus at a distance too. They prayed in hush arbors. They whispered spirituals under threat. They learned how to survive while being watched. They carried faith carefully. They trusted God when the night riders were near. They were sifted like wheat, generation after generation. and the prayer of Jesus sustained them. They were seen enough to be used, but not enough to be loved, because that is what the powers do. But Jesus does the opposite. Jesus saw enough love in his own heart to sustain everybody who was near him. Love is what kept our ancestors praying. Love is what kept them dreaming beyond the plantation, beyond Reconstruction betrayed, beyond segregation, beyond every empire that ever tried to tell them they were nothing. And because they were being sustained, there came generations afterwards who marched, who organized, who survived, who voted. They went back and they strengthened their siblings. That's the assignment that Jesus gave Peter. That is the assignment my ancestors carried. That is the assignment in this room right now. For every face on this call, from Cape Town to California, from Switzerland to wherever anybody is here, and those who will listen later on YouTube, this gathering is an upper room. The strengthening is happening already here in us, not somewhere out there. The strengthening is happening here in us. Our mothers, our fathers dreamed toward a horizon they could not see. They were prayed for before they fell. They came back and they strengthened their children. They strengthened their children, and one of those children is here on the southern tip of Africa preaching to you. Diane crossed this ocean with me. We are not standing outside what we are preaching, we are in it. And the same eye that found Peter in the courtyard finds us here, inside the beauty, inside the danger, inside the dream our parents carried and could not finish. The same eye has also been looking at the ones who stood close in spite of everything, in spite of the danger. The same eye has been looking at Black parents who showed up at the Santa Barbara School Board meeting one more time after their children were assaulted and name-called at school without adult intervention. The same eye was looking at Wendy Sims Moten being insulted during public comment while she sat on the school board. The same eye looking at every child who fears anti-Blackness and still tries to learn, looking at the immigrant who keeps showing up for class or for work, looking at the Muslims who keep showing up for Friday prayers on Calle Real and all over the United States, looking the same eye, looking at Cori Bush, Jamal Bowman, Mahmoud Khalil, looking at all the people who keep showing up. And dear ones, looking at you on this call who carried what you carried this week that nobody knew about. Looking at you who said one small true thing when it would have been easier to say nothing. Looking at you who refused to laugh at the cruel joke. Looking at you who answered the question that Peter was asked. Were you with them? Are you one of them? And you said quietly, faithfully, I am. Somebody has been weeping because they were seen. Somebody has been weeping because they kept warm at the wrong fire. But somebody else stood close and paid for it and is still paying. Hear me. The weeping is not the end of the story. The cost is not the end of the story. There are 3 sacred scenes that we read. Number 1, the upper room where the meal and the prayer and the commission happen. Number 2, the courtyard fire where the denial, the look, and the remembering happen. And number 3, the morning fire, the bread, the mercy, the work restored. After Easter in the Gospel of John, the risen Christ builds a fire on the shore. He cooks fish on it. He calls his friends in from the boats. He calls Peter in. Peter, who came apart at the courtyard fire, comes and sits at the morning fire. Jesus does not say a word about the denials. Jesus feeds him. Before Jesus questions him, before Jesus recommissions him, Jesus gives him bread, and then Jesus asks him a question. Do you love me? 3 times, because the denial was 3. Peter answers each time, yes, Lord. And what does Jesus give him back? The upper room. Feed my sheep, tend my lambs, strengthen your siblings. The commission Jesus gave him before the disappointment is the commission Jesus gives him after the disappointment. The fall did not undo the call. The denial did not erase the prayer. The morning fire is mercy with breakfast on it. This is the gospel. Christ prays for you before you fall. Christ sees you when you fall. Christ feeds you after you fall. And Christ restores you to your calling. So, dearest ones, if you have been sifted this year, the past couple of years, few years, if you have been sifted, if you have stood at the wrong fire, if you have said, I do not know him when you did know him, hear what Christ has been saying about you since the upper room. I have prayed for you. I have prayed that your faith will not fail. And when you come back, strengthen your siblings. Strengthen the ones who are still standing close and paying for it. So the look did not come to crush you. In a world where every voice, every algorithm, every empire, every screen wants to use you, the look came to locate you. The look came to remind you that you were prayed for before you fell and that the work is still yours when you come back. Let yourself be looked at. Let yourself remember. Let yourself weep whatever needs to be wept and come to the morning fire. There is bread on the coals. There's work to do. There are sheep to feed. So, friends, look up. Dear ones, Christ has been looking at you all along. Amen. Yeah.
Pastor Moore, thank you. That was great. That was great. I have very specific thoughts. I'll try to make them brief. The first was, you have been assigned this mountain to show others that it can be moved. I know you guys have heard this. The other thing I thought of was my own journey and how my life had to burn to the ground, you know, and God was there the whole time. And it's not that God burned my life to the ground, it's that my life had to burn to the ground in order for me to be restored. And before any of that happened, God already knew Julia needs to get it together, right? Because she has things to share with everybody else. The only way I was going to get it together is by kind of burning everything to the ground. Where before I had no faith, now everything is built on faith. And that would not have happened if I hadn't came as close to the bottom as a person can possibly get, you know? So he was praying for me before, he sustained me during it, and he fed me after, so that now I can go let everybody else know that it can be done. You know what I mean? And support everybody else through their journey, hold their hand. And then the last thing I thought of was that story that you shared about your mom when you got hurt in school and at the hands of a little white boy, and the way your mom had to deal with that, and how she had to stay distant, right? Because of the system that she was stuck in trying to raise you in, and your mom did what she had to do so that you can survive, so that you, just like you said, can be that child that ended up in Cape Town. You know what I'm saying? Like it was already your plan was already set. You know what I mean? So that was great. Dr. Dave, what are your thoughts?
Well, once again, thank you so much for the beautiful message. I just love the uh, how you uh, expanded the gospel message to all of us. Because like Peter, we all fall. I think we can all relate to that. Uh, but it's so inspiring to hear you say that, like Peter, we have a mission, and we will get up and we will accomplish it. So I just found that so inspiring, and I'm grateful for the message. I will keep that message with me as long as I can.
Mm.
All right, so I would love to hear from everybody. I was sharing with the pastor that uh, in AA meetings, there's we try to encourage everybody to share, and there's a great reluctancy to share. People don't really like to share. They either feel like they don't have anything to contribute, or maybe they just want to listen. But I was taught that when we all come to the table to share our experience, strength, and hope, those of us who listen eat well, and those of us who share sleep well.
Mm.
So I would love to hear all of us share so that we can all sleep soundly tonight. So I'm going to go sniping people I don't usually hear from. Anyone? How about, let's see, Kaylon. Kaylon, we have not heard from you in some time.
Why did I know you were going to snipe me, Julia? You know, thank you for reminding us of the third part of the story that, of course, we didn't read in the reading, but which is always one of my favorites, the whole Jesus looping the broken back in, right? And your whole story of, hey, remember I told you this is how it's going to go, and you're still in this story, and I still need something from you. And just what a great sermon. Thank you so much. And I'm glad you guys are getting to enjoy Cape Town, because it is a place of beauty. I well know.
You know
And
that.
you deserve it, brother. You do.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. When we were in our small group, Diane Fox is in Switzerland. And so she showed us outside her window. Oh, was that before we went into small groups? But anyway, we were in our small group, and we're saying we probably have the most international group for 5 or 6 people. But she was able to show us, but I couldn't show you outside my window because it's dark, but it wasn't dark at that time for Diane. That's interesting, because we're both at 7 p.m., but it's the different hemispheres, I guess. Yeah. Or else I would love to share with you how beautiful it actually is.
I know, I was totally thinking of that. Thinking how it's probably dark because it's heading for winter there, right?
Yeah.
And
it is.
just thinking about how, hey, shoot, we'll have to shift somehow so you can share some of your beauty. maybe when it gets to summer, I guess. But
Maybe so. And Diane suggested I put something in Group Me, so I'll do that too, video or something.
I see Ernie is unmuted. Prepared to share.
Julia, I'm unmuted because I have so much trouble with technology.
Well, might as well share then.
But
As well.
I'm gonna share. I know that when we have our messages, we all get to embrace it personally and reflect on our own lives. And one of the things I might say is my fears in general have diminished. They're not gone, but they've diminished. And my ability to see my physical life and my spiritual life is still the same life. And that has helped my fears to diminish. And I know one of my, I know Scott's on today. He's helped me through one of the really big ones. And I would say right now, I came into having cancer, and I use the term I'm learning to live with cancer. It's just a challenge. It's not the big C word, don't say it. And so I think it doesn't come just in health, but I'm using health as a good example. And all of it's doable, so I can continue to work for the calling. And I look at the earliest calling I can recognize was, which many of you know, at 9 years old, I met Helen Keller and decided to go in that direction. And many years later, I end up with the disabled son that can't talk and had some vision problems, but his vision's good. He cannot talk because of other types of complications along the way, but we could teach him sign language and give him an expressive language, because there's a whole lot of other things in that body that work really well. And we that don't have those challenges of not having our two most important means of learning and getting information, our vision and our hearing, they too can learn. We just have to do it in a different way. And we're always learning that. And that's why all of our callings and all the messages that I hear on Jesus Collective and outside of Jesus Collective sometimes are so important. And so I like knowing that my calling can still go on in spite of my challenges. And I like knowing that I can look at them in the right way. And I do get devastated, but I always know the blessing before I'm devastated. So the blessings don't disappear. So the message was very important to me. It has enriched me. And all of our challenges, not just my own personally, but outside of me, I see beyond that, with all of us helping in those challenges.
What a beautiful message. Thank you, Ernie.
You're welcome.
That's more inspiration.
More inspiration.
Yes, I agree. And I would say, Ernie, you have blessed us with a reminder and a refreshing of our connection to the beauty of mortality. So we receive that. And for those who don't know, Ernie some time ago has shared with us a couple of times that when she was a girl in school, that Helen Keller came to her class. And isn't it a beautiful thing that she had that to buoy her as she had a son with severe disabilities later? Yeah. How precious.
Mhm.
It's a little miracle.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was wondering, and here's a long shot, but Branda, is Branda available to share? So I see your camera off. Okay, maybe not. How about Barbara? What are your thoughts today, Barbara?
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I thank you for the message. So fun knowing that you're so far away, Diane and David, yet so close still. It's amazing. I don't know why, but this morning I was just struck with the reading and how Peter's denial was very, I don't know, he chose that story or that example to show us that it wasn't like this big, giant, catastrophic thing that he did. It wasn't violent. It wasn't anything that was historically significant, but his just pure, just saying that he didn't know who he was what the big thing was. And just how relatable that is in my own life. Like, to deny Christ is like to deny anybody. I mean, Christ is in everybody. So, I mean, not to feel guilty about that, but just to know that that is just be thankful for God's grace and that it's such a relatable story.
Amen. Rhonda, you unmuted. Are you ready to share with us?
Oh, I'm just thinking about Peter's relationship with God and how we have our individual relationships that are things we'll never share with anybody else but with the Lord. But He sees us, like He said, He sees us, and yet He accepts us and loves us anyways. So that's it.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Brenda.
Diane, do you have any thoughts you'd like to share? Diane Fox?
I had a couple of thoughts. First of all, thank you. And I loved the image of the breakfast fire, of being fed before we're asked to go out. And I loved that image. And I also related to Ernie what you said. I'm here in Switzerland with a grandson who has learning disabilities, and he's had them. He's now going to be 17 next week, and because of the community that surrounded him, he's pulled through a lot, and that whole community has been wonderful. So that that made me think of you, Ernie. Yeah, and wish you the same.
Mm.
You. Seems like we don't hear very much from Sally. Sally, would you like to chime in?
I was planning to chime in at communion.
Are you leading us in communion?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you. How about Shala? You're muted and we don't see you.
I was just going to say, good eye. I don't see Shella. Oh, at the bottom. Oh my gosh, there's a whole row down here. Sorry for those. I didn't even see you. How about Elena?
You there, Alina?
There
Yep.
she
And
is.
hello.
Hi.
Morning.
I'm putting away groceries as I get to listen. Um
Do you have a cold?
yeah, it's been like
Mm,
a few weeks of just congestion, but I feel a lot better.
okay.
Well, I caught the end of David's talk. So I got to hear more from each of you and your sharings, which has been beautiful. Um, and yeah, I'm just kind of absorbing that. I Yeah, I don't know. My daughter just came in with donuts and mushrooms and berries, and so I'm kind of in 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 that while I take this in. So I'm sorry I'm not fully present here right now, but I appreciate all your voices and
Thank
sharing.
you,
And Julia,
Elena.
I hear you working hard to get everyone pulled in too. So
Yeah, it's
I
like
appreciate
picking
you.
flowers from the garden. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
it's
even
nice
if
to
you're
see you,
not fully
Elena.
present, we're happy for what you share.
I
Mhm,
appreciate that. Thank
mhm,
you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Well, let someone else speak now.
mhm. Thank you, Elena. Does
Thank you.
anyone have any thoughts?
Well,
before
here I have a thought. It's a story about Peter. So does Peter want to say anything?
Peter.
You're muted, Peter. There we go.
You mean this Peter here?
That
Yes.
Peter. Yeah, it's you.
Well, the main word that I've been under recently is for me to shut up and listen to everybody else because I talk too much. But I did hear from David two things that stuck, and I want them to stay stuck. One of them is that when David, with what he's been through, becomes the survivor and the witness to the rest of us of what that water is like that he was raised under, we better listen. We better not deny or reject or ignore that witness. That's why I'm shutting up, because I have something to listen to. I don't know what David knows. I haven't been where David's been, but, and I need it. It's a missing piece in my own formation in life, and so I wanted. So there's the being quiet and the duct tape over my mouth has a purpose, which is for me to be able to listen. And the second thing, which goes right along with it, is that's only temporary. David said that after you come back, you have something to give. You still have something to share, even if you've betrayed and done all the most horrible atrocities you could do in life. He's going to carry you through that. You're going to survive. And immediately, according to the story, he had something to share right away. Like the being quiet and being dealt with is temporary, and there's still something to give. So at the end of my life here, however long it's going to be, I still have something to give, and I want to be faithful to give that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Precious.
you, Peter.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Wow.
I see Reverend Judith. Reverend Judith is leaning in. I know you have something to say. I see it.
Not much, but I really was touched by the fall did not undo the call. You know, it just doesn't matter how many times we suck dirt, that we are always held. That is just the most amazing realization, and that, we can be really broken and come out of it landing on our feet, So thank you, David. It's really inspiring to know you're in South Africa, you and Diane. It's just the most amazing thing to think of, you just leaving. I mean, it couldn't be two more different worlds, And
Yeah.
it's just going to be amazing to see what happens with you, with your call.
Thank you, Judith. Before we have communion, first of all, thank you, David and Julia, for facilitating so beautifully. And what Judith was just saying, along with the other things I've heard, made me think of when I was a pastor, probably not even 30 yet. There was a younger couple, actually did their wedding, and they were getting ready to move from Santa Barbara to, I don't remember, Kansas or somewhere. And so this was a long time ago. And I remember the woman saying to me, well, what if this is not God's will? What? Because we still had that evangelical stricture, and I remember her saying, what if this isn't God's will? What if we're going somewhere we're not supposed to go? I just said, well, then move back. I mean, your parents are here, and so I mean, God's grace is way bigger. Like we heard in that very first song, His grace is greater. So, Sally, take it away.
All righty. First, I want to say that I prepared this before I heard Pastor's sermon. So it was just, everything just kind of folds right in together. Because when we think of communion, we're remembering what Jesus did for us. And we're looking forward to his return, and keeping in mind that this is all meant to nourish us spiritually, but it also is meant to unify the community. So linking with communion with the community that we are all part of. And in the reading today, where Jesus not only prayed for individual strength for Simon, but then gave him the mandate to go out and strengthen his brothers. So I would like us, going forward, every time we do communion, to remember that we're reflecting on the beautiful and blessed community that we have a privilege to be a part of, and that every time we're doing this, we're remembering that we're meant to strengthen one another. Jesus strengthens us. We do what we can to strengthen ourselves, but this act is a communal act of strengthening and unity, and just acknowledging that we are together, and to hold each other up so that we don't give up, but keep on moving forward. With that in mind, let us take whatever we have for communion today. Let's eat and drink.